Guys, we've got a big week ahead of us. I don't have time to joke around today. We're going to get straight into the Forex trades I'm going to be taking. I've got a call with my team. I got a call with clients today. I got to inspect and get my car registered, and I've got a call with my mom. So I'm going to go ahead and just get straight into this video. Let's look at the first setup we're looking at. So USD JPY. So a couple of my clients have already bought here at this at the support resistance zone. At this support resistance zone, I should actually probably send this out in my free Telegram channel right now. If you're not in this channel, it's I'll put a link in the description in the pinned comment. USD JPY might be setting up soon. Here's why I'm looking to trade USD JPY. There's a couple outcomes here. Number one, we could bounce here at this daily support level, right? On the daily chart, it's just a daily support resistance level. Price could either bounce, go up, or it could break it and go down. I'm not exactly sure what I think will happen yet, just because I'm waiting on price action to develop a little bit more. What has happened here on the lower time frames, like the 4 hour and 1 hours, we've actually already come through here. We bounced, but then we tried to get back above this region here, and we actually kind of failed. You can see I had an alert just above here, so that way if we broke above, I could have just bought right there after the price action confirmed that we're bouncing. The trade would have looked something like this. Target at the previous highs, stop loss just below the zone, but that didn't happen. We didn't end up going up. So right now I'm going to be watching it. These little bearish wicks right here are not looking too sexy. So I'm still not in a buy quite yet on USD JPY, but I might be here pretty shortly. It just kind of depends on what happens. Now, if we don't bounce here and if we break below, I'll be waiting for this outcome here, where we break below, come back and retest and bounce. That could set up this week or next week. And if we do see a bounce right here, whether or not I get into buys, regardless, I'm going to be looking for sells here at this resistance zone. When you go to the daily and weekly chart, a very clear, strong resistance zone. This is going to be one of the trades I'm risking $40,000 to $50,000 on. So I'm going to be waiting for that to set up. If something else sets up in the meantime on UJ, fair game. Now, I remain in Euro GBP right now. Now, this morning in the Telegram channel, I posted this is where my P&L was at. We're at $42,000, $43,000 profit. Euro GBP was in a nice profit. We're now, since currently, I've pulled back a little bit on Euro GBP. But this is what it looked like this morning here when I first woke up. So this is the weekly chart. Again, I trade on the daily, the 4 hour, the weekly. I just kind of use them all together. I sold at a resistance zone with a stop above and a target below. And that's the whole analysis. I've got plenty of videos here on my channel about the way that I trade, and I literally do it. I post my analysis and everything for free in the Telegram channel. Again, link in the description, the pinned comment below. It's free. I've been running it for 7 years. If you're not in there, you're an idiot. Just join it. It's free. If you don't like it, you can leave in 10 seconds. I post all my analysis in there. So I sold here at this resistance zone. I put a stop above and a target below. Same thing with NZD/USD. This is NZD/USD here in the weekly chart. In a weekly, daily, 4 hour charts, what I use for this one. You can see it's a support zone, resistance, and support. So I just bought here at support. Put a stop below it and a target above. 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, 30K risk. These are currently still sitting in profit. So Euro GBP, like I said, it pulled back a little bit. It's actually kind of bounced up here. What I'm going to be looking to do is if we can get up here into these highs, I might be looking to add to this trade. I'm not 100% sure, but I might be looking to add if we can get there and then start to bounce. I think that Euro GBP is a very good opportunity here on these higher time frames, especially for bounces coming into to the rest of this week. We've had price push up into this zone. We've had a huge move here back in April of 2025. We've had another huge move here in July. A couple weeks ago, now we're back into this zone. I think that at least a move right here, which is where my profit target sits, is very likely on Euro GBP. It's a very mean reverting pair as well. You'll notice Euro GBP tends to cover a lot of ground and territory, especially when it moves one direction pretty far. So I'm thinking that it's still going to bounce here at the zone. I don't really see any reason to close these trades quite yet. I would like to see us break these recent lows so that way we can make another kind of like last leg of the move. Here, we were halfway to the profit target this morning for like $35,000, and if it goes all the way to the target, this will be about a $70,000 winning trade in P&L. Super sexy. So I'm waiting on this trade. If EG wins and NZD/USD wins, NZD/USD will be 30K, EG will be 70K. So I'll make like $100,000 this week just on those if they win. USD/JPY, we already talked about it. Euro/JPY, I'm waiting for a sell at the resistance zone. Here's the daily chart. Again, you can check all these in Telegram if you just want to follow it live throughout the rest of this week, because I don't always have time to get videos out like these. I'm looking to just sell here at the resistance zone. But I am waiting for it to come deep into the resistance zone where this previous high was up here. I don't want to do anything preemptively, so I'm just waiting. USD CAD, I'm also looking for sells on USD CAD, but I'm waiting on price to come up a little bit deeper into this zone where this high was at right there. So that's where my alert is. You can see just below 1.4. If we get there, price might bounce. I'll take a trade that looks something like this, right? Entry there, stop above the zone, target at a 1-to-1 just to get the trade started, and then perhaps I might manage it dynamically by adding to it or extending the profit target depending on what the context is. AUDJPY, I'm looking for sells at this resistance zone, but I do think USDJPY looks a little bit better. So I'm going to be looking for this over AUDJPY because they'll probably both set up at the same time if they set up at all. Euro AUD, I'm looking for buys here at the support zone. I'm kind of waiting because we have kind of a big region here. So I'm waiting for the most extremes of this support. All these lows count. That low counts, that low counts. But when you look at the most extremes of the zone, it's that right there and it's this right here. That's why my alert is so low here in this zone. If we get there, I will buy at support. I will put my stop loss below, and I will set my target above the zone with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, risking anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 depending on the trade. This one in particular, I might be risking around 20 to 30K. I don't know. Just feels like that would be appropriate. GBP/JPY is going too much sideways for me, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. AUD/USD, if we can have a big move all the way back down into here, I'll be looking to buy right there. Stop below, target above. GBP/CAD, I don't know if I'll be looking to sell. This was a really nice trade last week. Our entries were all up here at this resistance zone. So we had perfect entries. This one ended up just spiking down. I mean, it was so cool. And I'll be looking, I actually don't know, just because we're making higher lows. I actually think this is probably going to be breaking out to the upside. So I'm less likely to want to sell here, but I'm still going to be watching it. I just think it's more likely that it might break above at this point just because we've got all these like higher lows forming. So we'll see what happens on GCAD. Nothing yet. Euro USD, I really don't see anything. I don't even really like this zone where it's at right now. I'm just going to delete it. I like AUD USD a little bit better just because it's a little bit more clearly defined. You've got all these little lows right here. You've also got sort of like previous highs right there as resistance and support back in the past. I like AUD USD enough. So I'm just going to wait, and if it gets down in there, again, like I said a second ago, just entry at the zone, stop below, and then a target above. You'll notice my stop's not like 2 pips away from the zone, right? And it's not like a million pips away either. It's a nice little distance away where if I lose the trade, that it'll be invalidated because it'll go far enough below the zone, but it's not going to take me out if it kind of bleeds through the zone just a little bit for a second, right? So that's AUD USD. So GBP AUD, there's a couple zones here on GBP AUD, none of which I think are super sexy except for the one that we're currently at right now. But this, I took a trade here last week and then ended up going into profit, but I had closed, right? So I sold up here at the zone, it went into profit, came back, screwed around, went sideways, ended up closing around break even on this one. And now it's since kind of still screwing around. I don't really know if I like this anymore. If we were going to go down easily, it would have come up, tested the zone, and within a couple daily candles probably would have fallen away. That's what happens whenever price is going to reject a zone, right? You don't have a million stupid things happening. Whenever, for example, you see price come up here, daily candle, the next candle's away. You see price come up here, the next daily candle rejects it, and then it starts trickling downwards. Here, literally one daily candle, the next one was a bear candle, probably would have hit the profit target, like super quick. Why? Because if you sold when price got there into the zone, with a stop loss above the zone and then a target at a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, yeah, like that next daily candle, like that would have been your open candle. The next day started there and that daily candle hit the profit target. Less than 24 hours, your profit target would have been hit. Same thing up here. If price gets into the zone, right, and you sell, midway through the zone, you don't want to try to wait for entries too high into the zone because sometimes they won't set up, but you certainly don't want to be entering low into the zone because it screws up the risk reward. But if you're entering about midway through the zone, this one only took a couple days to play out, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 candles to play out. So about 3-4 days of price action. That's nice. That's really nice and easy, especially when you're risking money like me, like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. I've got people following my trades that are in my Discord that are risking anywhere from like $1,000 to $2,000 per trade. And so if we only come out like every month in a couple units of profit, right? It's like, say it's like 3, 4, 5 units of profit. These people are making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 or $6,000, $8,000 or $10,000, depending on exactly how much they've risked. So when you're risking high dollar amounts, you don't need these crazy risk reward ratios. You don't need these crazy moves either, right? Just little moves away from the zone. Little bounces of support resistance. It's not hard. You just have to do it. Whenever price starts going sideways for too long, though, it becomes less likely that's going to work out. I don't like that this didn't break the recent lows in the last test over the last few days. So I'm probably just going to leave GBP AUD alone. GBP NZD is about as cut and dry as it gets. There's a major resistance zone where price bounced back in here in April earlier this year. We had a huge bounce away from the zone. All I'm looking for is just a little bounce away. What will the entry look like? It'll probably look something like this. I'm literally giving away to you guys a lot of these exact potential trades. Now, you don't know exactly when I'll enter or if I'll enter, or if the context might be different when I enter, but I'm giving you the analysis and the setups. Again, just go to my free Telegram channel. You can follow it all there. But I'm literally giving you like trades that these trades over the course of the next coming months are probably going to make me hundreds of thousands of dollars just cumulatively, just because they're super, super simple and because of the high dollar amounts I'm risking on them. GBP NZD will look something like this, right? Now, again, none of this is set in stone. Anything could change. We could have, a news spike price deep up into the zone and it just breaks above and closes it and I end up never taking a trade. But assuming the context is appropriate, when price gets there, I'm going to wait for price to get this to this alert right here. Then if it gets there to that alert and starts showing some signs that it might be rejecting there, like just a little bit of bearish price action, it can set up in a number of different ways. So you should never be too like pinpoint targeted with exactly what you're looking for. But if it gets up there, a 4-hour candle closes with a bearish wick, or it has a bear candle closure and starts going down, breaks a recent low, probably be entering a sell that will look something like this, right? Maybe it's a little bit higher, maybe it's a little bit lower, but it'll look something like that. Now, continuing to CHF JPY, I see nothing for now. CAD JPY, there's a couple zones here, but I don't really see anything I'm excited about. I don't really think I'm going to trade either one of these zones. It just doesn't look that exciting to me. It looks too rangy, and I feel like we could break down if we come back here into the support zone. I just feel like since we've been making lower lows, lower highs, I just feel like it's more likely price might do something like that. So maybe it'll come down to that zone. Maybe I'll buy at that zone or something like that, because then we might see a little bit of a bounce right there. But we'll have to see what happens. NTD JPY, same sort of story as CAD JPY. I don't think it's going to hold this level, right? We tried to get above these highs, but we're just making lower highs. And then we've also got very recently lower lows. So I don't think it's going to bounce right here. I'm not going to buy. I don't really know where I'd buy. I don't really know what I'm going to do on NZD JPY right now. I'm just going to leave it alone. I don't see anything. Euro Canadian dollar, I see a straight bull run, but I don't see an area where I can enter to control risk in an efficient way. Say it pulls back here and I buy. Where does the stop go, right? Underneath the recent low. Well, if I put it underneath that recent low right there, it could still technically pull back a little bit further and still be valid and bounce. So where do I put it? Do I put it under that recent low for my stop loss? Okay, well, let's see what that looks like. Well, it could still pull back past that, hit the stop loss, and then technically still look like it's in an uptrend, right? So then you're like, what do you do? Do you put your stop loss past that low? Well, if you do that, now you have your stop loss way the hell down here, and you've got a target like way up here at a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. I mean, that's, and then what if it goes and breaks that low right there? I mean, technically you could still say it's in an uptrend, and that would be the area it's most likely to bounce at. So it's just, I don't see a clear way of structuring risk, and that would be consistent enough to dictate a trade. So I'm just going to kind of be just waiting on EuroCAD. GBP USD, I've got alerts here at these zones you see on the chart. I don't really see much here. I think I think AUD USD presents a better potential trading opportunity for some reason. I like this zone and how consistent prices bounce at it over and over again. GBP USD, I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe a sell at resistance or a buy at support. I don't really know right now. AUD CAD, I don't see anything at all right now. That's just me. USD CHF, I don't see anything at all right now. That is just me. So now we're done with FX. Let's get into crypto. Let's get into the wild, wild west. Pull out your revolvers and let's start talking like cowboys, saying howdy and doing draws in the middle of the street and shooting at each other. Because it's the wild, wild west in crypto right now. So I'm in Solana. I bought some Solana at 198.8, and I showed right here on the last video, show my Coinbase account. Here's where the portfolio is at currently right now. So let's see these trades. So I'm down on everything from where I entered. I'm slightly down on everything. The only thing that's in profit is Solana. Average entry was 198.28. Excuse me. It wasn't 198.3. It was 198.28. My entry was slightly better, right? It's 2 cents better than what I said, right? That's how great of a trader I am. So I'm up about $5,000 on Solana. Everything else is down. Uniswap, I'm down 24 grand. ADA's pretty much break even, down 2 grand. Sui, however the hell you call it. I'm down 12 grand on Chainlink, down 17 grand on Algorand. So these are all my holdings right now here in Coinbase. Again, I have a couple different exchanges. I use a couple different exchanges, and I use another wallet here on my browser, and then I also use 2 Ledger wallets to store tokens safely off chain. So I kind of got my crypto spread out in a bunch of places, but this is the crypto I've allocated to actually trade with. Do spot trading on Coinbase. It's about 1.7 million. It was 1,670,000 at the beginning of 2 weeks ago. So I've lost, it looks like 65K over the past week or two. And but if we have nice pulls up, like look what'll happen. So if Solana goes from 198.28 or whatever where I bought and goes up here back to like say even just 250, right? That's a 26% gain. I'm gonna make $26,000 on just Solana. If Chainlink goes from where is it at right now up to just the most recent high we were at back in August, just a month ago, that's a 30% gain. How much Chainlink do I have right now? Currently, my Chainlink is worth $87,000. So 87 times 1.3. What is that? 87 times 1.3. That would mean $113,000 would be my holding. So I'll make a $13,000 profit on that because I put 100K in and I'll have 113K. So I'll make a $13,000 profit. Whenever we go and look at a couple of these other ones, just look at it. The percentage upside gains are radically higher than the percentage downside losses. Algorand, if it gets back to the previous highs, is 43% from where it's at. Uniswap, which I have added to, I started the position up here. That one tanked a lot, and then I added another position down here. I don't know the exact price, but it's somewhere. I think it's like 8.8 or 8.6 or something. If these positions go up to the recent high, right, that's a 40% gain. That's a 40% gain on $200,000 worth of Uniswap. What's that? That's $80,000 profit. Even if I don't hold to the previous high, I'll probably come out on top. I mean, at the bare minimum, 20K, but I would call that a break-even trade. If not 30 or 40K, more likely. And then if I hold it all the way to the previous high that we were at, like back in July or whatever. Sorry, this was just August. Yeah, very recently. This was like a month ago, like a month and a half ago. If I just hold it up to there, then boom, like it's gonna be nice and easy, and that'll be a pretty big profit, anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000. Shui, whatever you want to call it. If this gets back to the range highs we're in back in July, it's a 31% increase. So that'll be cool. I mean, I got 100K of it. Where's my average price on this? Average price on Sui is 374, right? So 374. Here it is up here. So 374. If that gets to the highs, that'll be a 14% gain, 15%, whatever. So I'll make about $15,000 on that. ADA, Cardano, if this gets back to the recent highs where we were at in August, that's another 23%. If it gets all the way to these highs we were at earlier this year, check it out. All the way to the previous high is 63%. The risk-adjusted returns on some of these altcoin cryptos are insane. That's why I've been buying so much of them over the past couple week or two, but especially earlier this year when I got into a huge position on Solana. A lot of you guys know I got into a $2 million position on Solana, and I made a little bit over $600,000 on Solana from where I got in, because I was getting in at stupid prices on Solana, and then the moves that were running up were insane. So let's around 160 up here. So look at this shit, 56% gains, and I trimmed off profits. I think I took it at 240, so 48% gains. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. So I started adding positions in here for the breakout upwards, and we ended up going up. A lot of these, I think we're going to have another run very similar to that as we continue through the rest of this cycle here in cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, I won't be buying anymore. I won't be buying any Ripple, most likely. Won't be buying Ethereum. I think it's too high. I'll buy Ethereum if it crashes down here to like 3K, another 30% dip. Avalanche, I'm looking to get into soon, but I'm waiting on it to come back into the support resistance zone. So as you guys know, I buy at support, sell at resistance. It's nothing crazy, nothing scientific, just buying and selling at support resistance. If we come back here another maybe 12% or so on Avalanche, I'll be getting into that. The percentage upside is awesome. Even from here is a 20% run back to the top. That's awesome. If it crashes down here and then I buy, it's a 40% run to the top. Excuse me, 37.5%, almost a 40% run. If you buy 100 grand of Avalanche right there, whenever it dips and hits the zone, and it recovers to the top, and then you sell right there, that's a 37% gain. If you put in $1,000, that's $370. You put in 10K, that's $3,700. Put in 100K like me, it's $37,000. You put in $1 million, you're making $370,000. My wife, I'm gonna force her to put in $1 million into this crypto shit coin, so that way it goes up $370,000. I'm gonna make her buy me a Lamborghini Huracan STO. That's in a really nice spec, because most of those cars have those ugly ass wraps. I would really like a nice spec for an STO. I might even throw an extra 10 grand at her. That way we can get a nice wrap put on it. So that's what I'm going to be doing with Avalanche. The rest of these I'm going to be holding. I don't see myself adding unless we see big dips. Cardano, if we can dip all the way to where we were at back in June of this year, June, and then earlier in the year back in April, that's another huge dip, right? It's another 30% down, but I will be buying another 100 grand right there, because I know at some point we're probably going to pop. It's probably not going to go to zero, and then whenever it does pop, the percentage gains to the upside are just absolutely incredible. So that's what I'll be doing. The biggest eye I have right now is on Solana. I really like Solana. I was able to avoid this whole crash from the top all the way to the bottom. Here was 23%. Had I not sold right there, I would have given back like maybe like $400,000 in profits, maybe $450,000 in profits. That would have really sucked. That would have really sucked. Because I made 650 grand on this in total as it went up, just over the course of however long this was. Like, yeah, August to September. It's like a month and a half. Last month was my biggest month ever. And then in Forex trading, I was up like 170 grand at that point, like to equity watermark. It's crazy. Forex trades have been going great. Crypto trades has been going great. I made more money this year trading from everything, from Forex, crypto, and even stocks too. I've done nothing. I've held the 90% of my portfolios in the S&P 500. The other 10% just sits in cash. For all the money I have allocated to equities and stocks, it just mainly sits in the SPDR 500 ETF. That's gone up like crazy. I legitimately, my wife, I finally got her into trading. So she started a brokerage account just on Robinhood earlier this year, and she put some money in there, and that's up like 12%. So the market has just been running like crazy because she actually got in like right on the dips when things were dipping, and it just happened by happenstance. It's not like we tried to do that, but it ended up popping up. So it's just gone. I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's so wild. It's like so insane. So yeah, I've made more money trading this year than I've ever had in any other year in my trading career. It's been so crazy. It's been nuts. I've made like millions of dollars this year. So there's Solana, there's Chainlink, there's Algorand, Uniswap, Sui, and ADA, which is Cardano. So that's what I'll be looking for in crypto. I'm going to be holding all my positions. I'll be adding if they come back. I'm going to have to keep an eye here on EuroGBP to see if I can add to this again. If it comes up there into that resistance zone, then I'll adjust my targets. NZD USD, I remain long, and USD JPY, I still don't know. It looks like we're bouncing now. I still don't know. I would like to take a buy on this, but only when I feel it's safe to do so. Right now, I'm still kind of waiting because I don't know. I'm just going to give it a little bit. So there's all that. So that being said, guys, that's everything. I will see y'all in the next one, my friends. My dogs are running to the door, so I'm going to run to the door like a dog as well. See ya. If you liked this video, the comment and the like button and the subscribe button are all there below the video. I'm just going to leave you with those, and you can figure out what the hell you want to do. Cheers. See ya.